back. So if you like the content I'm creating, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and share with someone else if you think they could use it as well. Today I'm going to talk to you about something that I started a long time ago, and I know many other people do as well. It's called auto-suggestion. See, the second you enter a room, you're going to automatically be scanning with your eyes. This is normal for everyone to do. Well, it's so common that we don't even think about it. But this is how you start noticing things. And even if you don't notice it right away, it's like you take a mental note of it, even if you're just passing through. So, people have put in things called vision boards. And a vision board is nothing more than a big board, cardboard, it could be like something on your wall, with pictures of something you want to experience. And people go to like some pretty cool lengths with this stuff. They'll even Photoshop some of the pictures, put their head on some body that they think is really awesome. And it may seem kind of silly, but it really does play a big part in getting to where you want to be. You see, if you're constantly seeing something, a mechanism in your brain called the reticular activating system gets programmed to look for those things, look for opportunities to those things. This is totally under the radar, it's totally subconscious type things, but you're actually programming yourself to find opportunities to experience those things. Whether that's a better body, whether that's the right diet, whether it's more money, relationship, whatever. So, a few of the auto suggestions that I currently use, and more that I'm actually starting to incorporate. Um, you know, you've all heard the saying, money is the root of all evil. You see, if you believe that, which most of us have been programmed to believe it, you're not going to have much money in your life. It's just not going to happen, because it's almost like a math equation, really. And if money's the root of all evil, then if you have money, you're evil. Do you see yourself as evil? Probably not. So those two don't add up. The logic is off. It can't equal out. So you'll actually repel money from your life if you believe it's the root of all evil. Unless you see yourself as an evil person, which I really don't know many people who would classify themselves that way. So one of the ways I got around that was this. $100 bill, right? We've all seen them somewhere before. Depending on what you got. I started out with a 20 because a 100 was just too much for my head. I thought I was so poor in my brain that I couldn't, I look at the 100 and I'd be like, nope, nope, can't be, nope, nope, no. So I changed it to a 20 instead, and then a 50, and then a 100. And this, what's this? It's a $1 bill, we've all got them laying around. We probably give them out to people from time to time, depending on how we feel. You see, if you don't have a ton of money to program yourself, there are ways to trick yourself. And I've shown this before, but I'll show it again. See, $100 bill, right? This is about $61 bills, roughly. Now, what is it? It is 61 $100 bills. Now I can look at this and know that it's a $100 bill on a bunch of ones, but that doesn't really matter. What I see, like the second I wake up, or when I'm going past a certain area where I put this intentionally, is a stack of $100 bills or 20s, depending on like where you are in like this whole thing, or 50s, and in my head it programs me to believe that I just have a hell of a lot of money. That's literally what it tells me, that it is so normal for me to have a ton of money that I literally just leave it laying around. And you know what happened after that? It took a little while because this is a constant process, but I started pulling in more money. Opportunities for money seemed to present themselves. Well, they were always there. I just started noticing them more because I was programming myself to notice them, not without even thinking about it. Because your subconscious mind is constantly active whether you're awake or asleep. It's always active, and it literally runs about 95% of your life. There's so many different programs running all day, every day. You have no idea of any kind that some of these things are running. But they influence you in an extremely powerful way. Where do you think your urges come from? Your sudden wants to do something. You think it just, it was a chance that you saw something and went with it, or you suddenly had an urge to do something? All of that stuff is dictated by a program. And the program, just like in a computer, can be changed. So if you have a program for poverty, you are going to consistently find ways to get rid of your money. Believe me, I was there. Some of the most oddball stuff would happen. Actually, wouldn't happen. I'd find ways to make sure it happened, and I would make sure that, like every 6 months or so, I was like broke. No matter how much I had, I always found a way to make sure I was broke. And then I changed that, and over time, it became I always found a way to make sure I had a lot of money. That's what happened. And how did I do that? With this little trick. I mean, you can have fun with this kind of stuff, and I've shown a lot of this stuff before. You can make a money fan out of it, and just kind of like like some kind of rich, person on TV who has so much money they just you could throw it around, um, just leave it all over the place, piles of it. It's all illusion. If you don't have a lot of money, you can still get a bunch of ones and put some kind of big bill on it, just like this. Make a brick, make it look like you're some kind of drug lord, which is money laying around. And you'll find before long as in maybe a month or two or more, you're going to find more consistent opportunities to have more money. Your behavior starts to change in subtle ways. So that's for money. See, if you're looking for success, you know what the best way to have success is? Start dressing up. Literally. Whenever you put on shorts and a t-shirt, it feels pretty comfortable, right? Yeah, I mean, we all do it. Change that out to a, dress shirt, maybe even a suit if you have one. Just dress up once in a while. And think about it, take a moment and look how you feel when you're dressed up. You feel very different dressed up than when you're in shorts and a t-shirt. You're going to feel more successful. You're going to feel like you have higher status because you're dressed up. Hell, add a nice cologne to it and feel even better. They even talk about, having the Superman pose. You don't see Superman in his iconic, hands on the hip, chest puffed out, with his chin raised up. Like, obviously it's Superman, so, this has been his iconic pose. There's actually studies done, like, if you do that even 1 minute a day, your certain hormone levels rise that make you feel more successful, that you feel more confident, and that translates to basically everything else you do. See, there's so many ways to trick the brain. With pictures, create a vision board. You want to experience certain things? Start putting pictures of it around. Photoshop them if you have to. Get a picture of someone's bank account. You can find them online. Millions of dollars. Slap that thing on the wall. So that way, whenever you sit down at your computer or whenever you're laying down, you're going to see that picture. You may not think that it's going to have a big impact on you, but it is. It's going to have a huge impact on you because it's a constant process. It's a constant, reinforcement of things. Then go on to talk about yourself, even if it's to yourself, that you're a success. Dress like a success. In your wallet, put $100 bill in front of a bunch of ones. Put it around the house. So you constantly see, I'm successful, I dress like success, I talk like success, I have money like a success. And if you have a shitty car, then pretend it's something else. The famous fighter, Conor McGregor, used to drive some jalopy around town, and he kept telling everyone it was a Bentley. It was as far from a Bentley as you could get, but guess what? Now he drives a Bentley. Obviously, he put some work into it, but he was constantly using these processes and he to get the success he was after. I used it as well and got a lot of success out of it as well. And now I'm starting to up the ante, dressing up more, talking like I'm successful, putting cologne on, pictures, vision boards. You see, you don't have to start with all of it at once. You can start with one thing to test it out, get some evidence under the belt, and then move on to another thing and another thing and another thing. Keep upping it, upping it, upping it. You have to keep growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. That's just the way of the world. That's always been this way. So, choose to grow. If you want to experience something in your life, put some pictures around of it. If you want success, act like success, dress like a success, smell like a success, talk like success. It can all be bullshit, but it doesn't matter because you start with bullshit and you turn it into something real. That's the talk about, like, fake it till you make it. Well, faking it can also pretending. A lot of times actors go into roles and they immerse themselves so deeply in the role that they have a hard time changing themselves from it. And this is the same concept, that this is an intentional change, but instead of like choosing to be some kind of psychopath like the Joker, or be like uh be like Killmonger from Black Panther, you can choose to go in and act like Gordon Gekko. You're a success. You're a success. You're a success. Just avoid the whole, scamming part of it, and then guess what happens? If you pretend long enough to be something, you become it. That's how it works. That's literally how it works. So pretend to be what you want to be. Become that. Immerse yourself in the role, and then one day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna realize you are that now. You don't have to pretend anymore. You don't have to force it, because that act became reality. Because you just did it, and the brain picked it up, incorporated it, and changed your reality to become exactly what you are, or want to be, actually. So, if this is helpful to you, go like, comment, subscribe. I will talk to you on the next video. Alright, have a great one.